Gronk.
Okay.
Okay, amazing. So let me just do this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, George is positive again.
Oh, George.
Still positive.
When I said stay positive, that's not what I meant. Sorry, baby. I'm sorry, pal.
It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple more days to go, I guess.
Be okay.
It will be okay. Right. So,
We went to a club in Having Quarters, so I'm surprised.
don't you dare say that. I'm taking a PCR test literally today. Good. I didn't put any fantasy vibes on. So, is it my turn for a recap?
Sure. Blue caps.
Ah, blue caps!
Blue caps.
All right. Okay.
Mine, so
I mean,
This is the story of session 164. Sorry, I won't continue like that. All right. Notes are a bit light on this one. Apologies in advance. Luran and Karul still in Alstair's body. Head to a site where there might be a spare Karul body without telling the rest of the party. This is pre everyone knowing that Alstair is Karul right now, and anyway. There is discussion with the others about putting an alarm on the alarm that's on the sort of room with the contract, adding Brian to it, because he isn't himself. It's very odd. Eventually, in Sorella mansion, talking with Zarina, and Leander's there. I can't remember if he talked, but so Sorella was like, "Oh yeah, Brian's been possessed for 2 days," and we're all like, 2 days. Yes. Yes, Karul apparently chased after Dural after the interrogation and Dural's discovery that Karul did love him, at least for a time. Dural is summoned by Principal Slyansu, and he explains himself. Zarina and Leander leave the room when Dural mentions, I think it's his desire to have Karul, the soul fragment, in Karul body. I don't know what you're. Okay, all right. Yes. Luran and Karul have an odd journey. They go to Dural and Karul's place in Schüssel, quite far from the High Solarian. Luran, I think, discovers a lot of things about Karul and Dural. Yes. One thing that Dural won't forgive Karul for is basically giving their child away to the sisterhood. That's important. Yes. I started off one note that just says Dural made. Who knows? Who knows? Yes. Dural wanted a blood relative. That was important to him. He's protective of Alice. But he felt like he was doing all the parenting, and maybe in a more like literal magical way, gave more of his life force to raise the child. Anyway, we discover that Brian is probably existing in some sort of sensory deprivation tank-like space. Yes. Mm. Slya finds out some information from Cerellarus, I think, about the cloak of the Star Martyr. Only one person can wear it. It, is very helpful and shouldn't just not be worn. Cassiel's worn it for 500 years, and I think it's done a number on her. Everyone else who's tried to bear it has failed trying to get there. And that's kind of, letting the barrier fail is not an option. And the triad is needed, not just one, to help repair the damage that's needing repairing beyond the fairways. Yes. To keep in mind is to try and get dragons back without sort of letting in dragons like Tiamat or other forces like Alarm. Bluey thought about how could people possibly communicate to people in the Feyways, and Cerellarus mentioned the place of dreams. Actually, that's something I want to do. I want to chase that up. Yes. Okay.
I remember you saying that.
I have down here accommodate dragon sneezes, and that refers to the general dislike from non-dragons towards dragons, because without doing all that much, they can destroy a lot. And maybe instead of hating the dragon, you can accommodate the dangerous sneezes. Yes. And we can't let Tiamat's cult have a foothold. Okay. Back to body. Krul's just hidden his body just behind one thing. It's illusory. Oh, this is another thing. Oh, there's, you gotta complete the sigil. Oh, and there's another thing. It's a portal. Okay, you need some blood here. Yeah. Just a lot of stuff. I mean, it is a body. Fair enough. Krul says he doesn't he's, if evil is driven by hate, then he doesn't care all that much, and there's not much hate in this version of him anyway. Yes. Okay, body is brought back. The body swap happens. Krul comes to fairly well. Brian does not. Brian's body's breathing, but there is concern for his soul. Also, he's very malnourished because Krul didn't eat. Oops. Luran, go crazy. Take Brian to mansion. Some of the flowers have wilted, but have also kind of spread across the floor from the two children meeting in the middle. Brian's place there, and gets his. He awakens. He comes out of the sensory deprivation chamber. I think that's everything.
Hello. Okay, yes. Very exciting. Not only was Alstaer sick because he was malnourished, but also because his magic is what sustains him. And Krul ain't got that good. Magic.
So just in case you thought Alstair was dying from a 1 day of no food, no, that wasn't it, mate. But it did contribute. It was the factor. He's not that delicate, right? Right.
Also, guys, I found this picture.
No.
Printed out?
Yeah, in my drawer. I have two. Which are
the best kind of picture.
Oh, we love each other
Holy
so
shit.
much.
Lala's been so distressed.
Would you like
Yes.
random pic?
Wow.
So yes, We are feral.
You
Right.
got to like imitate that photo and also get it printed out and put it side by side.
Fun. Right, so yawn.
Yawn.
We're all feeling real great today.
I'm sure especially Cass.
Especially Cass. Now, to set the scene for you, George, we're going to just sort of like put a few pieces in perspective. So, first things first. Most of you are still in Sorellaras's mansion, doing whatever it is you wish to do there, having just seen Quirrell return to his body, at least a fragment of him, in a new body that you've never actually met before, but still looks exactly like him. All those semantics out of the way, you also saw Luran waiting over Alstair, trying to bring him back, and with the help from Slya, with help from Neff, unable to. He's breathing, but he is not within his body yet. So Luran leaves, taking him upstairs to the mansion, and puts him there with Shu kind of like cuddling him with his children on either side of him. And he waits until eventually Alstair takes a breath and reaches up and he just touches Luran's.
Ooh.
Anyway. Alstair,
Me.
you come to consciousness.
I haven't played Alstair in like 3 games.
I know.
Sorry.
We love you. Thank you for being here. Alstair, you come to consciousness.
Yee.
First, unsure of where you are, and then immediately understanding. Flowers, you, your husband's face. You're in the mansion. How are you feeling right now?
I would imagine Alstair's feeling very tired, very drained. His magic is probably starting to come back to him, like coalescing around his fingers in his hair. And he'll just kind of look over himself and look at Luran.
Mm-hmm.
He'll just tap his throat. Did something happen?
And Luran just throws himself on you.
Alstair's like,
And then he's like, ooh, realizing he's probably going to cry. And he just says,
cattle.
you don't remember anything.
Also looks like he's thinking hard. I feel like I've been asleep. But I wasn't asleep.
No.
Me? Was it my fault?
No.
George is like, yes!
Not entirely yours. Not the worst.
Also kind of tries to sit up. Is anyone hurt?
No, but someone is in fact whole again.
Can I insight check him?
Yeah.
26. No, 27.
He is deliberately being vague at this moment. You can tell that he's holding information.
Luran, talk to me.
You can tell he's kind of been crying a little bit, but he gets his composure back. He just says,
Also leans in and he'll just try to brush away the tears.
you are possessed by Quirrell, his soul fragment.
How?
When you touch the contract, your name was on it. I hoped that wasn't possible anymore. once
Why would he do that?
Giral ran out of the room, he panicked. Apparently. He wanted to run after him, but he could not move from his body. So he used,
What did he do with my body?
from my understanding, he walked around the Ice Palace, spoke with Giral, tried to see Valis. I don't know how.
He didn't do anything.
No.
That doesn't make sense.
You expected him to burn the whole place down?
No, but I suppose I'm acting on the assumption that he would want to use my body as a weapon.
No, he wanted family time.
Alstaer looks very confused.
I know. It was weird.
Where is he now?
Well, one thing we definitely did was we went to a shizzle, you, me, and Cruel, and we got back one of his bodies. Him in there without telling the party. Well, the party saw him go, but I didn't tell them until. And then I helped retrieve the body and did a little swap.
So Cruel has a body and he's here.
Yes, in Sir Eloras's mansion. Well, he's not here, you know.
He's contained.
I believe so.
Good. That's good. I'm just gonna. Also lies down. I'm just gonna stay here for like a couple of hours.
Luran nods and just sort of like brushes your hair out your face and says, and then some. I don't think you're going to be going back.
What do you mean?
Back to Cruel, the Messiah.
I need to go back to the Messiah. I'm the king. I just need to rest a little bit. He obviously didn't feed me. Also means that in more ways than one.
I can look after.
I know you can, but if I haven't been there for 3 days, I need to. He's been a king longer than I have. So.
He didn't act it, if you're worried.
Luran,
Mm-hmm.
how long are you planning to keep me here?
It's not important.
Can I insight check him?
Yep.
22.
You get the impression you might not be in the Messiah anymore.
Alstaer kind of struggles up to his knees and
Don't struggle. Lie down.
Luran, there are the rest of them back in the palace with Carol.
Technically, they're not in the palace. They're in Sir Eloras's mansion, which is a very different place, an extra-dimensional place.
No, but were they there when you left?
Yes.
Then as soon as I feel better, I need to go back.
Well, I don't think that's 100% necessary.
Where are we?
If you open the door, I think you'll find the Dehane estate.
Alstair looks like he's considering his actions very carefully. Luran, I don't want to stay here longer than necessary. I know you're doing this to give me...
And who are you to decide how long is necessary altogether?
until I can walk again.
That is not acceptable.
I'm a king, Luran, and they're my family back there. You are too, but I'm not going to leave my country and my family to pick up the pieces.
Well, your children are here.
And
What
they're
else do
safe.
you need?
Can you please message the party and tell them where you've taken me?
Make a persuasion check.
So, where's it plus 7? I just need to get my stat sheet up.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
I am much newsy.
I realise Luran is pulling a Tamlin from...
Oh no, what?
I
I haven't read those books, so I'm going to pretend that I have no idea what that is.
have no idea what that means.
Is what Tamlin does to whatchamacallit.
Yeah, the first book is them falling in love, and then Sarah J. Maas is like, actually, that's not sexy, and decides that she's going to be with the guy who pimped her out to a bunch of fairies.
16
Apparently.
persuasion.
Anyways. Oh, there's this book series called A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Don't read
which
it.
I know about only because I watch Read with Cindy. In this book, there's one love interest called Tamlin.
And then she changes her mind.
And she changes her mind after the book because Tamlin has PTSD and Feyre has PTSD, but only Feyre's PTSD is allowed to actually matter because the way that Tamlin's PTSD manifests is that he wants to be overprotective and keep her in the castle, according to Sarah J.
And so she ends up with the hot, scary bat dude who growls when they have sex in inappropriate places.
He gets so loudly he drowns out the
The
sound.
sounds of the dying!
Anyways, there's a lot going on here. A lot of baggage.
You get it when you work as a bookseller, anyway.
Anyway, so you guys, you roll your persuasion check. You got 16.
Yeah. He's still on his knees.
Luran says, I'm not gonna steal you away from them. Just keeping you somewhere safe.
Please tell them where I am. Tell Sarah or something.
Did Luran ever let Sarah out? He did, yeah.
Yeah.
He did. I'll message him.
Okay.
Eventually.
No.
Fine. And Luran will start. Is there anything else you
Luran. I think once Luran does it, Alstair visibly relaxes and he'll shuffle over to sit beside Luran.
I'm not a villain, Alstair. I'm just trying to protect you.
I don't think you're a villain.
I just don't understand why you need all those other things to me.
I don't think Anna. Can you not hear Emma?
I just don't understand why you need all those.
Yeah.
I didn't hear.
Oh. He just says, I don't understand why you need all those other people to make you feel, I don't know, alive.
Alstair looks concerned. Let's talk about that later. I do want to sleep for now. And I'm sorry that it's my fault. I'll clean it up.
Luran doesn't say anything. He just asks, here or out there?
You choose.
change of scenery. And you guys head out the door.
He can't walk.
Luran carries you.
Also, like, you sure you can manage?
Just about. In the meantime, are you guys, other than Cass,
I have to change this now. What photo?
yeah, are you guys all together or are you going your separate ways? What a poo-poo head. You know how I wish it was a poo-poo head? Basil.
What a beauty.
Sorry. I missed that because of arrange it in 10 minutes. I'm gonna have to have a nice painful injection for my migraines. It's all super fun. What happened? Sorry.
That's okay.
Why is someone a poo-poo head?
Basilton is needs to have a poo. And he's not
No,
had a poo
not
yet.
Basil.
And that's why I was like, do you know who I wish was a poo-poo head? Basil.
Yes, you're explaining the wrong thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? Do you want me to explain
I
what
know
happened in the...
In the game, yeah. I know Basil
Yeah.
needs to be a poo-poo head. But
That's fine.
isn't one.
Oh, I love that.
I was writing to a message.
That's okay. Basically, Alstair realizes Luran is somewhat kidnapping him, and Luran is therefore in poo-poo head territory.
Luran says something a bit distressing, which is like, why? You don't need other people.
Why do you need all those other people to help you feel alive or something like that?
Luran's fine, guys. Anyway, he does love you all. He said that like a session ago. 2 sessions ago. George. Wow. So, anyway.
George is also frozen.
I'm going to say that this is going to be before you all separated then.
George, are you trying to talk to us? Because you're completely frozen.
Oh no, it's just something breathing.
Okay.
No. Am I back now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So, you guys are all in Slya's mansion, except for Cass. We'll get to you. And you hear all of a sudden in your heads a voice. I think he would message Sarah's. I think he'd also message you, Slya, trusting you to be able to pass on the message. As Sarah can't actually respond to messages with his own magic, only with what Luran. You hear. Alstair and I have taken a
Don't blame me for this.
brief holiday to my family home. You will see us when, I guess, I don't know.
You hear yelling in the background.
Okay, you'll see us kind of soon, probably.
Slya replies.
Don't let Karul out of the mansion.
A little eye roll.
What was the last part about the mansion?
Don't let Karul out of the mansion.
Probably.
Hey guys, I have this problem that I gave you, and I'm gonna go now.
He wants to come back and fix it.
This is Luran. He's like, I gave you Karul's body, now I'm gonna go.
He gets a reply from Slya. Has he awoken? Is he doing all right? Does he need medical care?
Luran says, he is awake, and I'm looking after him. He needs rest.
He gets a reply sending, or wait, he sent a second sending. He sent a second sending. Ha ha.
You don't need to spell the name.
Sorry. Slya replies, and what do we do with this kingdom in the meantime?
You hear screaming in the background. Exactly.
Assuming that like Luran conveys what Slya's responses are.
It's true. Luran says, I think you should ask that question to Lucas.
Help!
Lucas is only a co-king. Your family's estate, you said?
Luran says, I will use all the forces available to me to keep you all out.
Why?
No response.
Coward.
He'll run away.
And then all of a sudden, Brian just sees Luran just packing up his stuff, like, we're moving the mansion.
We're going somewhere else. You like the spa? Let's go back to the spa.
Cyrillaris, you can open this.
What about the kids?
Consequences.
The whole DC has left the Masai.
Going to rescue Alstair.
Valis is like alone with Daniel. That's the whole story.
Danielle's a great babysitter.
She is.
Robbie's there.
Oh, I think.
Next round.
Let me
She's
check
fine.
that I have the spell slots. I'm pretty sure I do, but like. Alstair gets a message from Slya.
Mhm.
Oh no. Blink twice if you're in
How would you have us handle things back in the Masai until Luran returns you? Slya ain't messing around. Also,
Alstair
are
will
you well and I love you?
Alstair will say, give me 8 hours, then come get me.
No! This is supposed to be a kidnapping!
He sounds like he's being very quiet in the message.
Slya repeats that to everybody else in the room.
How's Sarah's reacting?
Bluey,
Sarah
Sarah's
is just like
Cyrillaris.
banging his head against the wall, like continuously, just like.
We
I'm gonna do it again.
I think at end of next session end of last session I had Bluey like sprint out of there to try and find Lucas and then to go up to where I think
we rewound a little bit.
Yeah, we've been around a little.
Okay.
Okay, so we're all
right.
we're all in the same room with Karul's body and Gerald.
Sorry, no, that was my mistake. I think if Bluey sprinted out, then Bluey's not there.
We have to give Baz his painkiller. Should we take?
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
So what we'll do when we get back, then we have to just give Baz his painkiller. We will do.
Right.
We'll cover where
Hello.
Cass is, and we'll cover where Bluey is heading.
Okay.
Shave
Hello.
me.
Okay.
I'll go get a nice injection then. Goodbye.
Yes.
Oh.
All right. See you in a bit, guys. As you hear these sendings, Slya, and you share a worried glance with Neff and Zarazar, a certain Dragonborn throws open the front door of the mansion and starts running through the Ice Palace. Now, Bluey, you're looking for Lucas. Where'd you go?
God, where would Lucas be? I mean, he could be outside. My boots are on.
Your boots are on. There are plenty of guards around, considering the events of the past couple of days. And there are people you can ask as well. Members of his tribe who are milling around. You know where Roll Me and Sharp Pistol are.
Okay. If I spot any tribe members, who is the person who Bluey interacted with? Big.
Sorry, Anna, can you repeat the question?
Who was the? This name has been written down somewhere. The character that Bluey. Was it cards? No, it was like stone throwing. Who was stone thrower?
Oh, with
the trial. Anyway, so
yes, hang on.
Her or anyone else in Lucas's party. That's in the trial. Hang on. It's got to be. Oh, maybe.
This was before the coronation, right?
Oh yes, before the trials.
Before the trials. Okay, I've got to go back in my notes.
I might be able to find it very soon.
That's okay. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Lyphalia Grey Trails.
Lyphalia Grey Trails. All right.
Tribe member,
I wonder
protection of close family members, prone to rage, charisma, persuasive, forceful, born leader, dexterity, yes, clumsy and fumbling.
Lyphalia Grey Trails.
Apparently, that's what it says in my notes. If I made something up on the day, because I thought that was boring, then it would probably be a different name. But it's most likely to be that one. So you want to go find her. Well, funnily enough, she walks right past you just as all of this happens. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
She has a bag full of pebbles and an ice pick, and you get the impression she's probably going to go and find some good frozen lakes to skip stones on, in spite of all of the chaos. She looks very angry, though. She's like steaming at the ears, and she's just stomping. And walks past you.
Lyphalia.
What? Oh, hey. Hey, Bluey.
Hi.
How are you?
I can talk about it later.
Where are you running to?
The king.
The king.
Lucas. King
Lucas.
Lucas.
You're looking for King
Do you
Lucas.
know where he is?
I do know where he is. He is currently hanging out with his wife and some strange child out back, right by the courtyard where they got married.
Okay. If I'm still in the Maasai
What?
tonight
You're leaving?
and I'm free, I'd love to skip some stones.
Sick! Yes, I want to do that, definitely.
I'll make myself known to guards and stuff if I might be about. Anyway,
Yeah. And then you guys walk fast away from each other, having matched the appropriate energy required for this conversation. Now, sure enough, you pass the dungeons where the corridor which would lead to the dungeons. You go down the steps to a slightly lower level.
Put it in the kitchen.
Okay, does it look like a good sign?
Yeah, I took it out of the box.
You pass the go down to the slightly lower level where the courtyard is, and you come outside. And Dannywell has like a fur sort of coat on, tied at the waist, and she is kneeling next to Valus and just like kind of making snowmen with him. But there's already 7 snowmen in the courtyard, and you get the impression that she is just being absolutely exhausted by Valus right now. And she's almost just like, flopping her hands. And Lucas is kind of just like assisting, but looks a bit more like, you know, what's the word? Like urgent than she is. She's like super exhausted, and he is like, okay, we've got to get some stuff done. You approach them, if you like.
Your Highnesses?
Your Majesties.
Daniel looks up and is like, oh, thank God, Lucas, they're here. And Lucas turns around and is like, for God's sake, where have you been?
So... Wait, hang on. Does Bluey know what Lucas knows? I don't think she knows what Lucas knows.
Is that my stupid bitch cousin?
He needs to know everything, really.
Oh my God, it's happening again. Yes, Anna,
Wait.
do it immediately. Anna,
Okay.
do it. I dare you.
Hello.
Yeah.
So
what's happening?
I
You've been
don't-
looking
I
everywhere.
don't think it's urgent, but just so you know, I think Brian, Alstair, King Alstair, is being recovered, is recovering.
From what you were
Um,
saying this morning.
I don't tell you now, not because you won't. You don't need to know, but because maybe I should have guidance as to what I can or can't say.
What can't you? Okay, Bluey, I can sense there's something that you're keeping from me.
Wow, Lucas.
I'm an empath, you see. So please, what is it that you are not allowed to tell me? What are you allowed to tell me then? Answer this question.
I think Brian needs King Ulster needs
Just
a bit of rest.
use whatever words is most comfortable to get your point.
Brian, I don't know how he got that nickname. But it's
Okay.
it's
Its
how I think
origins
of him.
reflects me also.
I believe I believe Luran has taken him to.
Is Anna frozen?
Luran, he seemed like he wanted to have control of things.
Let's kidnap and stuff.
I would love to either take you up there or to run to Ex Highness's roll me and sharp pistol, and also take them up there. I notice that Valis looks like a handful. What if
Give him throw me.
I did this? What if I carried him on my shoulders and while I ran to Rolamy and Sharp Pistol, and then after you go see Ulster, I can take him off. I can maybe look after him for a bit.
All right, Bluey. I think that's a
Blue
great
looks
idea.
to Daniel
if you put Valis on your shoulders and go inform the king and the queen, and I will make my way to perhaps it's the place that all of you have been hiding, that mysterious door that keeps disappearing and reappearing across the castle that nobody knows where it goes.
Yes.
Great. Good.
Yes. Okay, so there first. And that would, yes. Then there'd be more of us, and it wouldn't just be me.
If you, Danielle
That I might regret.
and brushes off her snow and just sidles over to you, Bluey, and she leans up on her feet and just whispers into your ear. I don't know if you've noticed, but I think he's a little bit upset right now. She whispers very loudly.
Lucas, is she referring to Lucas? Can I have an insight check on Lucas?
These are two empaths just hanging out.
Oopsie.
May I do this insight?
You may, yes.
Do it. Do it, son.
16.
Daniel's words seem to be accurate to the situation. You get the impression that Lucas really wants to find out where Ulster has gone.
Okay. All right. Your plan to go to a kindly visitor's mansion first. That Lucas did say that, right?
I'm kindly going to go to his mansion. Anyway, if you don't mind me leaving now, I trust you with the mission of informing. Yeah, and he just starts walking away.
Okay, all right. Hey, Valis.
He screams at you from behind a snowman. Hey, I tried to speak to you. Did it work?
Your dad's back from the dead, although you didn't know he was dead.
What?
A little. It spooked me a little.
Good.
Right. I've got a game.
A game?
I would love for you to play it with me.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I love games.
You win if you can manage to run after me and climb onto me. And if you win, the prize is holding on while I run really fast.
Jesus Christ, it's a good game.
Wow.
God, I've never thought of a game so good as that one.
Tough one, Blue.
Bluey just screams, "Bye, Danielle," and then she starts running.
What? Yeah. And then she's like,
Okay.
bye-bye. Valis runs after you immediately. It's like, yeah! One Dexy checking for him. Natural 1. He just like falls flat on his face, and Bluey, you keep running for a second, and then you hear like a.
Aww.
And he starts crying.
Oh, baby.
Oh no! Okay, Bluey runs right
You want your
back.
dad, do?
Okay. We can pause the game.
I went upstairs.
You know what? Yes, upstairs. All right. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he's not exactly young.
Who wants upstairs? So.
What happens, Jarrell, when you feed him until he's 4?
So. Guys, it's different in this world. Yeah, they just gotta hold him here. Anyway.
I blame you.
Anna's like, what?
What?
All right. So, maybe with not so much speed or some care with where she steps so that she doesn't fall. She will head to,
fine.
I guess, the dungeons where Romy or Pistol is.
For sure.
Okay.
I think you can definitely head to the dungeons. Oh.
And she'll cover Velas's eyes.
I was going to say, you run into the dungeons and kind of realize, like, Sinestra is down here. And without any of her teeth and missing some fingers. So you kind of just, like, cover as best you can Valis' eyes. And Valis is like, is this part of the game?
Try to see past my hands, Valis. I bet you can't. She won't fully enter. She'll sort of get to a doorway where Sinestra is not going to be visible at all. And then your former majesties.
So, emerging from the darkness, much like a monk emerging from 3 years of solitude, Rolmy just shuffles his way out and like bows away at the light suddenly as you open the dungeon door, and he's like, I've been here all night. Where have you been?
We've all been in the very kind guest's mansion, doing things that are relevant to you, and I would say most maybe not your physical well-being, but maybe your mental well-being. I'm going to be honest. Valis, don't listen to this. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna.
I was just like, I want to listen to all of it because I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy. I can listen to all the things. I've seen some stuff.
Sorry, the short of it is Alstair is recovering from something. Luran has him. And I believe they're in Luran's mansion, which I believe is in the tower, Alstair's tower. But I've told Lucas, and I've come down here just to let you and your wife know. Would you like me to escort you to Cerellaras's mansion first, and or
Let me go and get an aspirin.
I thought he was going to say my wife.
And then I will go and get my wife.
My wife. Yes.
Unless you know anyone else willing to volunteer to watch over this assassin who just killed one of your close family members and has just been left down here for a few days.
Oh, but she'll want to know too. Your wife. Who could guard? Who could guard? Not Valis.
I can get. Oh,
No.
as you're pondering this, Bluey,
Yeah.
I'm going to take us away for a moment and lead us somewhere else. Cass.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry for that.
It's all right. No. That was great. So, you know farewell by this point that most of your party members have become heavily involved in the cruel situation.
Embroiled.
So
you
just
could say.
Embroiled.
So Cass knows, right? That
Now, Cass wasn't there when everything came to light and Crawl
Right.
got his body back. However, I'm going to say you could have been spending the time with Freya. If you want to have been researching any topic of your choice, I'll give you a bunch of information on it. You can think about it. Because you
Okay.
have had a lot of time by yourself in a palace with a large kind of library. Or
Yeah,
people
I'll have
you
a
could have
think.
spoken to. So have a think about what you want to fill in. I will say this. You and Freya, having spent some time together, getting your mental health back in track, and Freya kind of says to you at one point, you know, if you're feeling this way and you're stressed and you have stuff you want to talk to your party members about, stuff you disagree with them on, that's all right, that's normal. But you should probably air all those grievances now before they fester and turn into something more sinister.
I have tried, but it didn't seem. I got very wrong vibes from Brian.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. I don't think he was listening. I think there's something wrong with him.
Freya kind of sits up, and I imagine that you're back under that tree in the garden. And she just says, I don't know what the best solution to all this is. But from my experience, talking can sometimes heal as many wounds as action. So if he shut you out then, I mean, you've given him some space. It's been almost a day. You could try it again. And besides, Alstair's not your only party member. There are a ton of you, from what I realise. I reckon it might be safe to say you go find your friends, see what the situation is, and see if you can help in any way. And your presence there should be enough to sort of soften the pain a little bit of all that's happening.
I think Cass would like reach out and like cup her cheek and be like, give a smile, and then just sort of like flop back and be like, fine.
Confront your demons. Do it.
I've already confronted my demon. Just,
Freya's like,
case in point, is it
poor choice
time
of
that
words, sorry.
When do I take the potion? Was that today or tomorrow?
Let's do it as today.
Okay.
Because I think a night has passed.
Okay.
In game terms.
Question is, did Krul do anything to the potion, or is it just a regular potion? Because he was the one making it with Zarina.
That's true.
But Cass
so you can go
doesn't know
find
that.
Zarina.
I think I
Easy
have
enough.
it, don't I?
Oh, you have it already? Cool.
think
I
so.
actually think Zarina would find you anyway. As you're kind of sitting in the garden and you take the stopper off your potion, Zarina says, no such thing as perfect timing. And she walks in and just kind of like floats around the garden, just kind of admiring it and says, this is pretty good, actually. How are you feeling, my love? Sorry, that was really well timed. I think you've got a spot of a cough there, darling.
Yeah, I think the mysterious illness that the apprentice have has somehow made its way to me.
Yeah.
Too close to home for a lot of people. I don't know.
It's fine. It's fine.
If
only heal existed in the real world.
I felt better, Serena.
Yes, I mentioned that. I came here because I wanted to check in and make sure you're taking your potion. She kind of approaches you and just feels, if you allow her, the eyes kind of underneath yours. And she says, it's good. Interestingly, it seems that once they close, the actual pupil itself disappears. It's more like scar here now. It's a good thing. It means, well, potions are working at very.
Okay, so I lift it up to her and Freya, and then I down it.
She'll lift up an undisclosed liquid in her flask and drink it in solidarity. And you feel the potion kind of spread through your chest, and it's cooling. It's actually a very refreshing feeling, and it comes with the scent of wildflowers. And Zarina says, thank God it worked. I wasn't sure it would. Yes, have you been up here this entire time? You don't know anything that's gone on in the rest of the castle, I assume.
What has happened?
Well, from where I left the party.
Zarina, don't sugarcoat it.
Oh, yes. It's quite bad, actually. So it turns out Alstaer was being possessed by the soul fragment of Karol this whole time.
As soon as she says that, Cass jumps up. That rat bastard! And she's gone.
That rat bastard. I knew it wasn't my best friend.
That's what my best friend.
I knew it! She's gone. She's gone.
She's gone. Okay. You leave Zarina and you leave Freya in your dust. As you run down the tower, down the palace, you run into another figure who is carrying Valis on their shoulders and is just like, trying to figure out who can look after Sinestre. And there is a collision.
Oh, Cass, fuck, I'm sorry. Oh,
She's up and she's already she's going again. She's not even stopping. She's like, where is he? Where is he?
Which he? Which?
The arsehole! Where is he?
Luran isn't here! That was a funny joke.
I'm sorry, I got a message, an important message. What were you saying?
Sorry.
No,
You don't have to insight check Bluey to know who Cass is asking about. It's pretty obvious.
Mansion.
She's gone. You see the back of her run away. Very fast.
See you later. Sorry.
Sorry, can that last bit I just kind of
Basically, Cass bumped into Bluey, didn't stop, kept running, and just shouted, "Where is he?"
Oh,
And-
where's the asshole? And the joke was
Where's the arsehole?
Luran's not here. Yeah. Okay. So
And Bluey has told her that he's at Sorella-Russ's, so that's where she's running.
understood. Okay. Thankfully for you, Bluey, just a couple moments after Cass runs off, you see a little head peek down from the stairwell she crashed out from, appearing to be Zarina, followed by just atop her, just like peeking out of old Freya. And Zarina just says, "How's she doing?"
Probably. I don't think she's. Oh, did you tell her?
Yeah, I felt like she had to know, you know?
Okay.
See,
No,
here's the
no,
thing.
no.
Ever since I had this great idea. Ever since I heard that you guys told all of the Apprentices about Pikotaro being undead, is that I could just tell people things, and just go for it. It's fun. So I told her, and the chaos was ignited within me. I've not felt this way since I don't know when. It's invigorating.
Bluey doesn't know how to feel like how she feels being a role model for Zarina in this regard. I'm glad. Mm.
Bluey, what are you doing?
Someone has to guard the prisoner. And well, I think both Romy and Sharpistol need to hear about this and see Brian Alstair.
Luran's kidnapped him.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
how about
I
this?
don't
I can do this for you, certainly.
are you sure?
No, I am sure. Could you
Okay.
imagine if I'd said no? Imagine me not being able to look after one prisoner.
Yeah.
You don't think I can do it?
So what was okay? Would Bluey have picked up on that? Because I don't know who she's referring to.
No. She's just referring to the general, in a general sense, nothing specific.
Okay, right.
But then she senses insult in your words and is like, "You don't think I'd be able to look after a single prisoner?"
No, it's just no. I don't. I know that you'd be able to. It's more. It's not nothing. You know. I can tag out if you or you can find someone to mind Val's, but who isn't Daniel.
Freya looks at Valus. I have experience in looking after children.
Hey, Valus, I would trust.
Like from I don't know, child like prodigies who had been kidnapped and that kind of thing. About to be sold in various markets. That's fine, though, right?
Valus, how does that sound with you? This is Freya.
I don't know this lady, but I'm tired of the games we're playing now. I'm a bit bored. I'm going to go upstairs and jumps
Okay.
off the shop. And so
I'm sorry I got you to run so fast that you hurt yourself. I'm very sorry that happened.
What happened? I never cried. Who said I cried?
I didn't say.
Well, I'm okay.
It's okay to cry though.
Well, you know, are you guys going to be in that weird moving door?
Yes.
Cool. I might go and I might meet you guys there later because I miss my dad and I think he's still a bit sad from the other day. But yeah, I'll see you guys there at some point. Until then, I'm gonna go and play. He looks up at Freya and Freya's like, "Sure." And, you know, they wander off. Bye, Blee.
Bye, fellas. Bye, Freya. Thank you.
And Slya takes her place downstairs with Sinestre. and you can head back. Bluey, you are just standing there like, and you start heading back. The door of the mansion slams open, and you hear it all the way upstairs from the bedroom. And Slya, you know a ferocious door slam like that, if you've ever heard one before. You know who's coming. And Gerald looks at you as well, like,
hide, Carol.
Slya just looks at him like,
over his head.
Carol's like,
It's just like, this is
Okay.
going to work. What are you doing? Why are you?
Where is he? You hear?
Slya just like
screamed
sitting on the
very
bed, just
angrily.
like,
And Gerald's just like, Slya, help me, please. Sarah's
Exactly
just
like
slowly opening the door, like,
Uh.
"Need my help." Coral's just like, right, so we're just going to take this as it comes. It's been nice being back in the body, short as it was.
well, nothing can happen to you, right?
yeah, she can't hurt him, or she'll kill Alstair.
Well, we don't know what happened to Alstair, but
Carl says, I'm going to bank on that. Everybody prepare yourselves, please.
You hear a lot of shattering, banging as Cass is trying to hunt Karul down.
Slya just kind of like,
Cass, make a perception check.
Slya just flings the door open with thaumaturgy. We're up here.
Okay.
Cass is like, I just imagine somewhere in the mansion, Cass just goes.
Why is Cass's Magnus entity the hunt?
Slaughter.
The slaughter,
Yeah, the slaughter, yeah. You see Cass enter. She is got her battle axe in one hand and some sort of magic in the other, which you guys know her well enough to know is Eldritch Blast. And she's like scanning. Obviously, she's expecting to see Brian, and that's going to be complicated. When she sees a body that isn't Brian, actually, what does he look like? Does he look like Karul?
So this Karul looks much like himself.
Perfect. Say no more. She looks at him and casts Eldritch Blast.
Slya casts.
No, Cass, you're gonna kill Alstair.
Slya casts
Like, actually.
anti-magic
Cass doesn't know this
field
thing.
around and like puts herself in front of Karul.
As soon as Slya puts herself in front of Karul, Cass like pulls up, but you could tell she is like, there is murder in her eyes. So it better be a very good reason.
Okay,
Obviously, I
Gerald
know there
also
is.
in front.
But Cass.
Everyone screams.
So Sarah's sort of like grapples you from behind Cass and is just like, wait, no! And Slya, you throw yourself in front of the Eldritch Blast, which
I'll take
Cass,
it.
make me a dexterity check, please. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to allow you to completely change the trajectory.
Cass suddenly kills Alstair.
What is my dex? Is it just a
I think
straight
it's a cast
dexterity?
shield though.
Anti-magic field.
Oh, anti-magic.
Yeah, so it would have
Is it a straight
dissipated.
dexterity check?
Yes.
15.
15, okay. I'm going to say it bounces up and hits anti-magic field just above Slya's head and then fizzles out. Leaving you with like the residue, like kind of smoking energy, almost like a smoking gun in your hand. With your battle axe raised. At which point you have a chance to communicate.
Any harm you do to Karul will hurt Brian.
You motherfucker. Obviously not to Slya. She's like looking around Slya like, you better be thankful there's that fucking contract in place because I want your head on a pike.
Claude says, that's very dramatic. I've not done anything wrong to you.
Don't talk. I don't want to hear anything
Gerald
from your
just
mouth.
bumps him on the head. I'm Cass.
Where's Brian?
Luran.
He's in Luran's mansion. They are in the Feywilds at the Dehane estate.
Good.
Brian
She
said,
like glares at.
give us
She glares
8
at
hours
Coral.
and then to come for him.
I think they need that time.
Jarrell said, again, I'll reiterate the contract states that you can't harm, and he also can't harm.
And you knew, you sat there and you let that possess one of your closest friends, and he's having to recover. So how is he doing? Is he doing really well from that possessing? I think that sounds like he did really fucking shit.
Jarrell just looks at his feet and is just like, I tried to make it. I'm sorry.
When she's looking back at Slya.
Slya looks to Sorella ass. You would have the most accurate timing, wouldn't you?
I've known for ages.
They come
I
in with
think
a
at that, I think I
Yes.
think you just see Cass like fucking lose it. She's like, you knew?
Sorellas holding this like tray of like juices,
Aw.
olives in bowls. Just seems like they finally, come back to themselves. Walks just ahead of you, Cass, and they just say, "Oh, so we're talking about this now." Yes, I've known since they brought the contract back.
And you didn't think that we should know?
I'm not privy to all of your matters.
This is true. And Luran did strike them.
This is also. That's why I haven't been given high-quality dips such as these.
I have never been more supportive of Luran's choice in my life.
Including his choice to abduct Alstaer? The king of this
I think
country?
Alstaer deserves a bit of a break.
Louis, I think you would have been able to come in by this point as well. You arrive behind Sorellas, who is holding a plate of tapenades and leans over and just like says, time to enjoy the show, Freya. Just in time to enjoy the show.
Hello.
Is Sarazar still holding on to Cass, or has he let her go?
They can let you go if you don't seem to struggle anymore. Dangerous.
Yeah. I'm just trying to
Who's
think.
looking at Cass closely? If things are already looking tense here, just in case.
Sorellas gently just puts the tray of dips down next to.
She will move away from the tray in case she needs to quickly move.
Mm-hmm.
And not
with Mage Hand, it is like a physical hand, isn't it?
Ethereal?
Yeah. Are you trying to find a way to...
As soon as he puts the tray down, she backhand slaps him.
Is he within 10 feet of Slya?
Not for very long, but yes.
Sorry, yeah. Slya keeps that anti-magic field going for the next little bit. Until it seems like everybody's calmed down.
Mage Hand approaches and then just dissipates and slap Sorellas, but they tense.
Like, ooh.
Ooh, spooky. I feel like I understand the intent behind that action. Let me just make some arrangements.
Maybe she was going to take it already.
That she didn't get to.
Like she did to Luran.
Cass, what were you going to do?
She's just very sad that she didn't get to actually hit him. That would have felt really good.
Sorellas, somewhat sensing that, removes the tray of dips and just puts one of the single olive bowls and just starts walking away and just says, one day you'll be able to sample my marvellous dips again. But not today. Just because you can't hit him doesn't mean you can hit me. Take it.
I know, I also want to hit you.
Okay. Okay, I understand. And they will leave,
Solaris,
put
if
down
you wouldn't
their
mind,
tips. I'm not giving you the freshly pressed juice I made this morning.
Oh, I wasn't asking you to. But if you wouldn't mind sharing them with my wife.
But of course.
Thank you.
Just so I'm able to understand, how many rooms will I need to be preparing in the mansion today? Because we've got a lot of, well, we have a few newcomers, and I assume people who will be moving into my home, which I would like to just very quickly remind everyone, I consider be neutral ground. Any of your personal grievances, I wish you take them
Outside.
outside.
Understood.
So one for your wife, perhaps one for your son, Gerald. Gerald just says,
How does Cruel react to that?
Carol watches Gerald, like slightly narrowed eyes, her brows are pinched together. And Gerald just says, just one large enough for me to also sleep in, please. Which Carol is just like, fine.
I think
Anyone with a high enough insight would be able to tell that Gerald gives him a look at that basically translates to not now. Cass?
I think Cass is just like sort of angrily pacing now. She's like, there's a lot of energy and she has nowhere to direct it to. So you can tell that
Gerald,
she's
I
very
think-
frustrated.
Gerald, I think, seeing this, would just look at the rest of you and say, I'll help Solaris with his arrangements. I'll be back shortly. And Cass, as he passes you, he just taps you on the arm as if to say, follow me.
As soon as he touches her, she flinches away. And you can see her like rein in a very angry and violent response, but she does follow him.
Solaris, Joral and Cass sort of exit the room, passing you, leaving the two of you with Farrell and Professor. And you good?
This was really funny.
I know. And Solaris peels off one direction and gives a curious look behind when Joral doesn't follow. Instead, Joral takes you downstairs to a large room filled with void. Like, you know, you've been here before. And closes the door behind and just turns to you and just says, you can hit me. I'm not on the contract.
Cass looks very angry and looks like she's very much considering hitting Gerald. And she's like, wouldn't feel the same. How could you betray us like this? How could you betray Brian?
I didn't plan this. It just happened.
And there were about 100 different ways to deal with it.
Cass, this, I know that you have a very personal link to the contract. This is different. He's different.
I
It's
did
not
say
like-
they couldn't be trusted, and he did possess my best friend.
That was
So if
my
anything,
fault.
I think I'm being proved right here.
Maybe you are, but it was my fault.
How is it your fault?
He was trying to reach me. And Alstaer was the last one who touched the contract and one of the only people he could actually speak to me through. I'm not saying it was right. But his mind doesn't work in the same way as most. And it took me years to understand it, even a fragment of it. But that's what we have here. It's fragment. It doesn't possess half the capabilities that Coral previously had. And
You're doing it again. You're underestimating him. Doesn't have half the capabilities, and yet could still possess my best friend. Did Brian consent to any of that?
stays pretty quiet.
That's what I thought. Droll, I don't, like I said, when you tried to convince us that that we should let Crawl out the contract, I had my own suspicions, but you are family and I trusted you. You've lost that trust. I have nothing left to say to you right now. And she turns and she walks away.
So, you leave Jerome in that room. You close the door behind you.
That is pretty much the nicest thing that she was probably going to get out of Cass at that point.
100%.
So, yeah. The fact that Cass didn't kick him is quite lucky, but that just kind of felt like kicking a down puppy, and that just doesn't really sit well with Cass, so she didn't, but...
For sure. Everybody else in the room. Cruel sits up and looks at the door and just says, you know, he's going to ask her to hurt him. You could stop that.
Louis might sort of go then. As long as she kind of like makes eye contact with like Slya, at least. It's like, yes, Bluey's doing this. Yeah.
Louis, if you leave then, you'd probably catch their conversation beyond the door. You can listen there if you prefer not to interrupt. But you quickly hear Cass's footsteps kind of approaching you from the other side. And Cass, when you make to leave, Louis is there, waiting.
I don't think Cass she knows why Bluey was probably there. And I think she sort of like assumed the worst if you want, but she's not really going to say anything. She just steps around to Bluey, walks back into the main room, doesn't like even look at Cruel, and she's like, I'm going to go take this anger and direct it somewhere useful. I'm going to go interrogate Sinestre. If anyone wants to join, feel free. And she's gone.
Slya follows.
Okay.
Louis would do, I guess, some sort of check on Gerald.
Okay. Let's follow that. So Sarah agrees to watching over Coral very, very reluctantly, but considering you're in Sarah's mansion and what Sarah said about this being neutral ground, he doesn't seem to think that any harm can come to him here. So he waits inside the room with Coral. Fun little pairing there. That's fic content, if you ask me, Lily. And Louis, you make your way to Gerald. And the two of you make your way to Sinestre. Good fellas. Also,
Me.
as a notification from Deliveroo. We found our favourite burger place, which is Gourmet Burger Kitchen.
We have a bit too many burgers.
Too many burgers. It's so good.
They are very good.
No such thing.
So, Alstair, you rest up, and it's a little bit weird. You kind of fade in and out of a daze. And when your eyes open again, just kind of fluttering against the warm kind of embrace of Luran, you look around and you realise you're in the bedroom which Zarina made for you in the Dehane estate. And there is a whole array of food, blanket, hot water bottles, ice packs, all of that is just kind of like laid out all around. And Luran, whilst he's lying next to you, is fully awake, as if he's been sort of attentive and trying to bring you back to health in whatever way he can. You do notice that even though you killed him earlier, that cut on his hand, the life transference, it appears that he has done it again.
You don't have to do that.
Luran just says, I don't care.
I care.
He reaches over you and pulls the first aid kit towards himself and starts wrapping his hand. It's a small cut. You don't need to heal it. We won't want you to waste your magical energy. We need you to build that again.
Have you heard back from the others?
Yes.
Yes.
They agreed with my plan to keep you away, and they won't be coming to pick you up. I'm joking that they are.
Yeah, in 8 hours.
Yeah, you got.
I got a message. Is that okay?
As much as I want to, I cannot keep you.
No.
Lucas might ask you to abdicate, though.
Depending on what Carul's done, I would listen to the request.
I wasn't entirely honest with you before. And Yogan looks at you. Also, you do feel a little bit better now, a bit more yourself, more present. And Luran, kind of seeing this, he kisses you and then sits up and just holds your hands. He has a little bit of a face on, but he doesn't. His voice is soft. It's about the way I found out.
Okay.
It wasn't me who discovered that you were being possessed. It was Samraza. They put him in the locket. And
They, Joral.
Joral knew. So did Sorelleras, apparently.
Does it surprise me?
Joral knew. And has been trying to help.
Also, it looks like he's about to cry, but he just nods. Okay.
It was at his behest that I was brought in to their plot. They had hostages, you see. People I cared about. And had to work with Carul to get him a body back. And the way that Sarazer found out that you were being possessed, or at least that something wasn't right, was that he walked in on you, well, Coral and Joral, on a moment between them.
What do you mean?
Kissing Alstaer.
Mm. That's it?
That's it.
I don't think Joral would hurt me.
I don't really care. But I am aware, quite personally aware, in matters like these, it's not anyone else.
I need to speak to Joral.
I do agree, I don't think he is any danger. Any of the party members.
No, I do.
But I might be a danger to him. I separated us for other people's safety as well. Though Cass is there, so I can't imagine that that's going to go down.
They know they can't hurt Coral. If they do, the contract will be broken. He'll be able to hurt them back. Also doesn't know that his memories will destroy him.
Mm-hmm.
They can't touch him. We need to be careful.
Yes.
I don't I don't want anyone to get hurt more than this, but I think the emotional hurt has already been done.
It's more than just emotional hurt, Alstaer. Much more than that.
You need to speak clearly when you're talking to me because I find it difficult to understand.
There is not much difference between physical pain and emotional pain. In fact, emotional pain can hurt far more than anything physical.
Are you in pain?
Yes, and you should be too. I thought you'd understand why it was necessary.
If I didn't understand, I would have asked you to take me back immediately. But I can't just leave the party. I can't leave Lucas and everyone in the Maasai. If I did that, then I wouldn't be myself. I still have that. I
I feel like I'm seeing more of the you I used to know today than I ever have.
I can't just stop Luran.
Neither can I, but I can't stop myself from wanting to protect you, from loving you. And I want you to know that I will do this again, if I have to.
I love you. I trust you. But I don't want my free will to be taken away.
I'm not taking away your free will. So don't phrase it like that.
I'm still here and I can still make decisions. I can learn. If there comes a time when I can't do that, then I understand all of you making the decision to take me out of the situation, but you can't just spirit me away because you want to protect me.
Don't make this into something it wasn't. You couldn't make a decision today. You couldn't protect yourself.
Can I inside check him?
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to need to go to the Lucian, I'm sorry.
Take another break.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
31.
He was actually quite hurt when you said take his free will.
If you need time to take me away or time for yourself, both of us, then tell me and we can negotiate how long it is and talk to the other people who are involved with our lives and who we need to be considerate of. Why?
So there's other people who have agency over us.
You are the most important person to me, but there are other people who I love.
I know. I have, of course, I have other people I love.
I know you do. And I really appreciate you wanting to help me. You have. I feel good. It took me much longer last time to recover when things got this bad. Took a Joshin.
You almost look a little Joshin right now.
Also looks down. No, I don't. Don't make fun of me.
Yeah. But you do look better. There's a fullness to you which you didn't have previously. You don't look like you're on death's door. Healthy is a word I would use to describe.
Not on death's door. I really need to go to the loo.
As we leave you two there,
Do you mind if I?
that's more than okay. Do you need me to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
It's fine.
That's in the loo, so every time I want to go to the loo, it's an operation.
Okay, we'll take a break and then we will get back to Sinestre interrogations and more. Okay. So, Bluey, you head into the void room with where Dural is. And Dural is just kind of standing there, like, eyes kind of fixed on where Cass was. What do you do?
Well, she'd like to know if she would be a welcome presence if she just sat on the floor, like 5-10 feet away from him. So if she could do it inside.
Sure.
Because I'm guessing, like, the fact that he's not, like, obviously profusely bleeding or something means that.
Cass didn't whack him.
Yeah. I'm trying to hold a biscuit while I roll dice. That's 14. Which would be welcome sitting down near him.
With a 14, you can tell that he's not really registered you there. But if it makes you feel better to be there, he isn't stopping you from being there. You kind of sit with your back kind of pressed against the wall. After a moment, you get the impression that your presence
Sorry.
is at the very least beginning to make him a bit more aware of himself. And he's still staring, just kind of at you, at the floor. It's like not really moving. And that's kind of what you get, really. You can kind of tell that he's shaking a little. Quite a lot, actually.
Would you like to sit down?
How loudly are you speaking?
Fairly quietly. I assume a room that contains a void sounds pretty quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that Gerald doesn't really process what you say immediately, as if kind of on a delayed reaction. He kind of flinches a little bit and looks at you and then looks at the door. And Bluey, you have experience in fighting. You've experienced, you've probably hunted for food as well growing up, with friends or with like, there have been times where when you've been on the road, and you just needed food and you didn't have any meat in your preserves. Would have needed to fish, would have needed to find small game. You know the look of what? You know the look of a animal looking for escape, for a creature in distress. And you get the impression that at any second Droll could bolt for the door.
Can I do a medicine check about the shaking?
Yeah.
Like, is it something that requires lying down? Would be great to know. Come on. That's 13.
I think before we go any further in this scene, I think just check the chat, just because I don't know if I can describe what you're sort of seeing and what that means without getting it. So if any of you don't want to be involved in that, or if Anna, you want to just describe how you kind of react to him rather than actually playing the scene out, that's okay. Just because I think that you probably know the history with him a little. If you would rather just describe kind of how Bluey kind of like reacts, and then we can leave it there. That's also.
I don't know. I don't personally know what would help, what wouldn't help, what would. Yeah. So I don't feel equipped to.
For sure. I think you
Yeah.
notice that Gerald was in quite a difficult state. And I think you get the impression that he needs to be somewhere where he can be watched and looked after. And you get the feeling this room isn't the best place. So I think you stand up and you kind of very, very gently take him back. You kind of pass Sorelleras, who mentions that they've set up the room for him and Valis, and your instinct is probably to lead him there. And you can tell Sorelleras to pass on a message to Saraza, to pass on a message to Slya, or anyone who might still be kind of present in the mansion. And I think you would probably reluctantly also add Cruel to that list, considering how long he's known him. And you can take him down there, and you can stay with him. If you want to ask someone to go get Valis, you can. But for now, you guys can just sit together, I think, and that would probably be what he needs. It's not to be alone.
Mm.
And I think very quickly after you get there, you're joined by Karul, who is fighting against Sarazu, just like holding him. And it's like they're both as brawny as each other, so it's a little bit difficult to say exactly who has the upper hand. But it's like Sisyphus pushing a boulder up the hill. It's like Karul will take one step and like Sarazu will pull him back, so they're just kind of like scrabbling in the doorway. Until Gerald finally kind of sees really kind of what's going on and just says, Sarazu, don't overreact.
Yes, Sarazu.
And Sarazu says, I'm not overreacting, actually. This is a wanted criminal who terrorized my family. And Gerald says, that's just not right now. And you guys can all sort of sit here, kind of waiting, I guess, for Valis. I think that's probably the best sort of situation, for him to be in right now. With lots of people he trusts. Is there anything you want to say to him at all? It doesn't have to be about that, just in general. Or any kind of sentiment you want to pass on and make sure it reaches him.
Like, she would. Like, she'd be struggling to kind of directly relate, but sort of with his conversation earlier with Slya, Neff, Bluey, just finding everything out, that conversation.
If you'd rather go and join the others with Sinestre, I think they might need some help. Do that.
Okay, she'd want to convey a non-judgmental yet tender look. Yeah, if I don't know how, but she would.
I understand. You get the feeling that the emotion comes across, and you can leave the room. Again, Sarazu and Karul. Sarazu, I think, kind of reading the situation, decides to just wait outside, but with a firm ear to the door just to make sure nothing is going wrong. And Bluey, you can follow.
It's not the situation, but I'm just.
I know. Okay, I heard it after I said it. But
What did you say? Why is it funny?
Sarah's listening at Joel and Karul's room with a
like some sort of like tense dad energy. I don't know. Just like it better not be.
Better not be any
funny business.
Funny business, my dudes.
Hanky.
No, hanky, guys.
It's not the time. It's not the
time. It's always the time.
So, you follow after the others. Now, Slya and Cass, before you go down to see Sinestre, I thought that was a kitten. I thought your headphones were a cat for a second there. I was like, what? Since when?
Oh, I wish.
Oh. Regardless, when you guys leave the mansion, what are you guys going to do to prepare for this interrogation?
I think Cass, immediately after leaving the mansion, is going to punch a wall. So I don't know. I don't know how that is going to rectify, because she's probably going to hurt her hand. So I don't know how you want to.
Slya, you see Cass punch a wall.
Slya just kind
do I attack the wall?
Yeah, make me an unarmed strike.
What would be my okay, +9? Oh, not the best. 14.
14. Funnily enough, the AC of a wall is very low. You connect. How hard are you hitting?
Hard. Very hard.
Okay, roll me your unarmed strike damage, and then you can double it,
That's 4d4.
like you would with a natural 20.
Is it 4? Just damage is 4.
Yeah, the damage will be
Okay.
1 plus your strength mod.
Oh, so 4. It's a straight 4.
Okay. Your hand is like smarting. One of your knuckles is kind of like split in the skin. Oof. And you just kind of pull it back, like, ouch, no. What you wanted, but also a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Slya reaches for Cass's hand to heal it.
It's okay, Slya. Save your magic.
Like, she's already done it.
Okay, Cass, like
this magic just washes over her hand.
Thanks. I needed to do that. It's a shame it couldn't have been Coral's face.
Better to get it out than let it fester.
Yes. Well, I'm not sure that festering isn't going to happen if he is still going to be here.
I have a feeling we're stuck with him for a little while.
Yes. Do you know how Brian is?
He's awake. Waking him up.
I guess we'll see him.
Scary.
I know how that feels.
I was worried he wouldn't.
I think Cass takes in like a very shaky breath at that, and it's sort of like looks like she wants to punch a wall again, but also knows that then we'll just end up in a cycle of punch, heal, so it probably won't. Once Brian gets back, we'll speak. Oh, sorry. Yeah? Sorry, my parents are just leaving now for the airport. So
Where are they going?
Jordan.
Oh, very nice.
For 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so hence me being completely quarantined. We have a lot to deal with, and right now I could use something to focus on. Are you okay to do this now? I know that I said I would go do it when I left, but we don't have to do it now if it's not right.
It's just one more thing. May as well.
I think we should
We
come up with a list.
2 minutes for me to look into her head. So
yeah, so I think we need a list of what we want to ask her and a list of what we want you to see.
Yeah.
Well, we need to find out about Pico Taro. Did she kill him? Did she kill him whilst he was infected? Or is the source of the infection somehow tied to her? Was that still Elijah?
And how was he brought back?
Exactly, because it would have happened afterwards. How much does the Apraeans know? Might be useful.
I don't know if it would work, but maybe I could look into Pikotaro's mind as well.
I don't think it would hurt. I think we need... Did I hear that Bluey has told people?
That was actually me.
Ah,
I didn't realize what hadn't been shared.
there's a lot going on today.
I'm still not at my best.
I don't think any of us are right now, and that's understandable. And when Slya says that it was her, instead of like anger from towards Slya, you see kind of pride towards Bluey. Oh, Bluey didn't spill the beans. I'm so proud.
No.
She only spilled some of the beans.
She spilled.
Good for you, Bluey.
I
She
think
spilled a couple of beans.
maybe Slya heard the beans spilling and didn't realize that really big bean hadn't fallen yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Oops.
Oops, all beans.
Just a ton of beans. That's what the plot is.
Just
Just
ball
lots of little beans.
bearings.
Ball bearings all over the floor.
Is there anything else that we want? So we need to find out what she did to Picotaro when Picotaro was brought back. What she knows about the sickness.
Why she was here now.
Why now? Also, what she hoped to accomplish. I mean, I know killing you was clearly the primary objective, but like you say, why now? What does killing you now? Is it just she saw a chance? I can't imagine that's it because of the effort that it would have taken to stay with Picotaro and infiltrate them. It's more than just a chance. Is there anything else?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Is there anything that's off limits?
No.
Both questions and other things.
Do what you need to get the information from her.
I have a feeling she won't be forthcoming. What are the things that I think there needs to be some warm-up questions before we get to the heart of what we want to talk about. She doesn't strike me as someone that would actually give up much. Are there any lesser questions we could ask her that don't seem throwaway, which
play on her
you can
pride
ask?
and her anger.
Let's go.
Okay. So you guys head downstairs into the dungeons and you find Sinestre quite as you left her. Only now, rather than being watched by Rollme, she is being watched by who smiles at you quite just slightly as you walk in. He kind of walks over to you. And the two of you, when you enter in, Sinestre looks over, looks at you, Cass, and just acknowledges you. And looks at Slya. And this being the first time she's seen her since
Haha, you failed.
Deaf. She sighs. Nods. Doesn't say anything. And Zarina speaks instead, she says. She has been a quiet guest.
Not surprising.
Sorry, can you repeat that for me?
Not surprising.
Not in the slightest. But if anyone can make her talk, I feel like it might be you. Would you like me to leave?
I think Cass kind of does, but she's also like, this is Zarina, so she's not going to tell Zarina to do anything. If she doesn't want to.
Zarina looks at you. And then gives you a wink and walks. Leaving you two alone with Sinistra.
Emma?
Right.
Do you need to leave?
Sorry, go on.
I mean, I should be thinking about it sort of soon, but that's not. Would Bluey have started to make her way down to the dungeons soon?
Yeah, do you know what? I think for the sake of brevity, we'll say that in the time it takes you guys to settle down and get comfortable with Sinistra, realise that she's being quite elusive, Bluey, you would have been able to join them. And the three of you now can start interrogation itself. Bluey, you are. Yes, you can be with them.
Oh, actually, before we start, I think maybe Cass will. It would have made sense for Cass and Slya to have agreed a code word for when Slya needs to cast a spell.
Okay.
So,
Bluey, I'll say you're also privy to that. So what
I feel like you
word
could
do
be
guys
privy. I feel like you could have been privy to the questions asked, like they want to ask.
For sure.
Also, I haven't written those down, so if I forget any of them during the interrogation, please sort of like jump in and just remind me. So I feel like Cass would leave it to Slya to decide what the code word was.
Probably something that's like not. It wouldn't be too out of like context, like something of that could sound natural in conversation.
I think Cass might think maybe the tome, as that's something maybe personal to Sinistra and to Slya. But she doesn't really mind what it is. Anna, did you have a suggestion?
I mean, it sounds like you're wanting to go subtle, but with something in another language that Sinistra doesn't know.
Oh.
I don't know. That would kind of call out that something has been said. That anyway.
What about hello in Dwarvish? Because I feel like Bluey would know it, and Cass would definitely know it, and Slya definitely knows it.
Yeah. I think Cass might like that idea, but I think she might tweak it slightly just in case Sinistra knows Dwarvish or knows, because a lot of, even if you don't know a language, you would probably know like hello, goodbye in certain ones. She might say, when I say bitch in Dwarvish, because that is, if we're doing an interrogation and Cass says something, a swear in her own language, that could be perfectly natural for her to do.
Yeah. Teaching Bluey swears in Dwarvish.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, so what's the
hello and bitch.
hello, bitch.
Hello.
Hey, bitch.
Hey, bitch.
Hey, bitch.
Yeah, so I think she'll probably say bitch and dwarvish is their code.
For starting the
Mhm.
detect thoughts.
Starting the spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, also before we begin, I think Cass would have expressed to Bluey that it's probably going to be a little bit violent, and if that's like whether she wants to stay or
Mm-hmm.
just so that she knows.
Okay. I think Blue would look ready to try and grapple. If anything, if Sinestra has any strength at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay then. Sorry for all of that. I just felt like those are probably some things that Cass would have spoken about prior. So okay, I think Cass then would, when Zarina's left, I think she would sort of squat down next to Sinestra and be like, this has been a fun couple of days. Clearly not as fun as you've had. So I'm going to get straight to the point. You're going to answer our questions, and the better you answer, the less pain you'll experience. Understand?
She nods.
Okay. So clearly your attack didn't last very well. Was there anyone else in on it?
Was there anyone else in on it, did you say?
Yeah.
She doesn't speak for a moment. And then she smiles, and you realise she has no teeth. And when she tries to speak, I'm not going to imitate it, but it sounds very garbled and difficult to understand.
Cass sort of rolls her eyes.
Do you want me to do something about that?
We could do, or I could cast a spell so we can hear what she's saying in our minds. She does look prettier like this.
Mm-hmm.
Slya casts.
Because Cass,
Oh,
go on.
unless somebody stops her, Slya casts regenerate on Sinestra.
Okay. Teeth just pierce through her gum. Very good.
Better be
Ooh,
ready to stop her
actually,
from biting her tongue off.
but can I have also, before we did this, cast the telepathic bond between Cass, Bluey, and Slya before going in?
How long? Yeah, sure. How long does it take to cast?
It would have taken 10 minutes, so that is a proper retcon, and I'd need to have done that prior to going in.
I specifically gave you guys time to prepare.
Yeah, and it lasts an hour, so basically now we can talk without her knowing, and if you guys, basically if anything goes too far or you have any questions or whatever, then we can do it without telling her.
Also, Slya has to touch Sinestra for that, so that's fun.
Show me that.
Slya just kind of, like, she's restrained to some degree.
She's kind of on her knees with her hands bound with ice.
Slya just kind of touches her cheek. Kind of similar to the inflict wounds, but it's going the other way.
Kind of heals back slightly, but you heal her. And she clicks her teeth together and then looks at you. Sorry, you'll have to deal with me being a little uglier.
Just get to the point.
You asked if anybody else was in on it. She kind of shifts and then just says, I was not working alone. Oh, Bluey.
Oh,
Mm.
Sorry.
yeah. Also,
Sorry,
with trigger
our
warning.
neighbour's cleaning. Our neighbour's cleaning
Yeah.
something next door. So if you hear any
Yeah,
rummaging,
I mean,
that's
I also have said it'll probably get a bit violent, so trigger warnings, I
Yeah.
guess, for torture, because that's definitely could happen.
So you watch as Sinestri kind of considers, and then she says, quite willingly, I had a few conspirators, but the ones that were relevant to you would be Elijah Oshu and those 2 others from the cast who I brought into my web.
Is Elijah
Anyone
expecting
else?
you to report back?
I told him it was unlikely that I would return.
Cass gets a message in her head. Sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean to.
No. Cass is this is a joint interrogation.
yeah.
We can all have a piece of Sinestri. Is there anyone else in this castle working with you?
She thinks, and then she says, no one living.
Very specific phrasing.
Yeah, Cass thinks to Slya, and it's a question. She's like, now or?
Seems like it's probably Picotaro in that regard.
No, she.
Oh, but
Cass definitely gets that. But she's basically saying like, should we go ahead with the spell, with your spell now?
also,
or in a minute?
Slya suggests, do you want me to do Zone of Truth as well?
Can't hurt.
And I missed what you said, sorry.
Can she cast both those spells at the same time?
Mm-mm.
Right.
Okay.
Since I think Detect Thoughts is a concentration spell.
You can pick one of the
Yeah. If you think now is a good time to do it, then
You could get the full use out of one and then switch to another.
that's the
Yeah.
plan.
Okay, I think Cass would potentially. I think then she would just say sort of. I think she'd say bitch in Dwarvish because Sinestri is leading her into the questions about Picotaro. So
I need a wisdom save, please.
Oh. It's 15 on the dice.
oh no.
No.
I think Bluey's used. Oh! Hang
Can I
on.
place
I'll tell you. Okay.
Can I place a curse on her first? A hex?
No, unfortunately, this is too late.
Damn it! I should have thought about that.
Bluey,
I still have not used
your brief
my
foresight,
brief foresight roll.
which was
A 3.
Sinestri takes a 3.
Oh, what was the 15 in total?
I'm not going to tell you that.
That's fair. Okay.
So, with a 3,
Okay, but that's fine. Now, next time, if we do then cast Zone of Truth, remind me to cast a curse first so that she'll fail that.
So you're casting the spell.
Yeah.
What's it called again, Slya? Just so I can.
Detect thoughts. So
That's it.
Slya's into her thoughts now.
Hoo hoo, haha.
Yeah, fun place for Slya to be. Sorry about that.
Cass gets a telepathic
Okay.
thumbs up.
So,
Yeah.
first of all, I'll tell you the surface thoughts, and then we can get into more as you ask questions. The current thoughts are interesting. She seems very detached, almost, from the things that she's experiencing, as if there's like a mental block preventing her from feeling the true extent of the pain, panic that death often, or the threat of death often feels in people. In fact, it doesn't really feel like she has a proper handle on emotions at all. Not at least in the way you express them. And you kind of try and push in and feel through her brain, her mind. And you're searching for those strong emotions you can recognize, anger, hatred, but they are simmering at a point you wouldn't expect them to be. She's just, I don't want this to come off as if it's like a magical effect. She just feels, her mind and her emotions feel very separate from what she's experiencing.
She's dissociating, basically.
We know you'd have killed Pico Taro to be able to assume his physical appearance. Who brought him back?
At that, you feel a blip in her mind. And Slya, I'm going to treat this kind of as like you can see fragments of what she is what she's describing.
Sorry, say again?
I'm going to say that you see some fragments of kind of her memories that she's kind of describing or pulling on to answer these questions. At which point you see a fragment of Pico Taro, sickened, lying in a laboratory as Sinestre takes his life. And you see flashing lights kind of arcing through your vision. You can't quite place them. But it is without a doubt in your mind that some combination of magic and experimentation, Elijah was the one who was able to bring him back.
The others just hear like this whisper of Elijah.
Okay. Also, we haven't. Sorry, this is, I know, really annoying, but I would have probably talked about this beforehand as well. Whilst Slya is in her thoughts, Cass would probably be reluctant to talk to Sinestre whilst Slya is occupying her brain. That being said, if Sinestre doesn't vocally answer her, I feel like Cass would need to do something. So I think that's a sort, but that I feel like that's a conversation you should have had with Slya, and
Slya would have told her, "Do what you have to do."
Okay,
even if I'm in her head, yeah.
Okay, so I think seeing as Sinestre didn't respond out loud to that, I think Cass will sort of slap her, and as she does, she casts Shocking Grasp.
Oh, okay. So tendrils. I'm going to say they start looking a bit more fey as usual. These black kind of inky tendrils filled with like flowers just and thorns, especially thorns, wind up and start to wrap around her and like leave like gouges in when you touched her. And she kind of hisses, and Slya, you feel a bit of that pain as well in her mind. And
as she does that, Cass will say sorry to Slya because this is not what she wants to do to Slya. You answer the questions.
I think she's getting the answers for you, isn't she? She looks at you, Slya. I feel you in here.
We want to hear them out loud as well. If Elijah brought him back, then why? Why now?
Slya. A string of complicated emotions, actually. And something like a vision, a memory, layered on top of many others, and it takes you a moment to discern it. But Sinestre's mind goes to disgrace in the Underdark after vouching for you, bringing you in, and then having you leave in such a manner. You remember a conversation about a tree, a ritual burial ground almost that you've seen in your mother's vision for many, many years. One you didn't go to, even though you said you would. And it was Sinestre who took the fall for all of these things. But they did not execute straight away. You see her languishing quietly in a prison filled with lights. And then you see a moment of chance, opportunity, presented to her that she takes, which brings her back into the fold with Elijah. Before she is herself executed, she would execute you for your crimes, or at least perceived crimes. But of course, why would Elijah care? And Sinestre says, I came here for you. And no, it was not an accident. It was carefully planned. Pico Taro was already ailing. Failed experiment of Elijah. So I convinced him to let me take his life. I offered him up a little bit of information. With regards to the tome and your destiny. Yeah.
What do you know?
Well, I think you are already aware of the extent of your future, limited Yeah, so you
Sorry,
see,
speak up a little bit.
You cut out then.
Yeah, so I think you're already aware of the extent of your destiny and how limited it is. Sorry, your future and how limited it is. So you see, I thought I would share that information with Elijah. Feyways, the Star Martyr, precisely who to kill and who to let.
And who to let what?
Who to
Do
let
it.
do it.
What is she seeing? What these thoughts are?
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna give you that in a second.
Okay.
But I stopped it at a specific point. And she doesn't say much more than that. But Slya, just from what she's saying in her mind, you realise that she has given up the secrets, the knowledge of your quest, what is expected of you, to Elijah. What the Star Martyr is, what the cloak of the Star Martyr means. Of course, Karul already gave you another answer, which was that Elijah's plan was to bring it down using the tome. But of course, he did not necessarily know that there was anyone who could put it back up. That being you. And at that realization, Sinestro remembers an urgency that was suddenly quite present in Elijah. And you have a feeling that that might be what prompted this action now. Deeper than just blood, deeper than just revenge. Sinestro wanted you dead, and so did Elijah. It had to happen now.
But it didn't work.
All right. I thought you were saying like she's about to do
Stabbing
something.
again!
What are Elijah's plans? With the sickness, the Elderlith. Does she smile like that?
Yeah.
To Cass? She hits her again and shocking.
Yeah.
She says, I don't know. I don't care, but I have my guesses.
Enlighten
And
us.
Slya, she knows that you're in there, and you get the impression that she is doing this on purpose, this part. You get the impression she's doing this part on purpose, as before your eyes flashes the suffering which she saw in Elderlith Swamp. The people sickening in the streets, the pus that sort of leaks from their bodies as they fall to this sickness, contaminating the streets, pouring into the sewers, the drinking water spreading.
As she's like is thinking these things, Slya leans down and just kind of like gets real close to her face. You can no longer hurt me in any way that matters. So just answer the questions.
It's not me hurting you. It's you hurting them. Can you really bear to ignore them? For the sake of a greater? All those lives, the whole of a prayer. It's an isolated country, yes, but such a large population, and she looks between the three of you. Aren't all of you from there? Can any of you let this slide? Pass this up. It'd actually make a lot more sense to kill me now and get on with it.
Oh, we will. We're just seeing if you're going to be useful first.
But Bluey would think, I wonder what makes her think that we won't be getting to saving people. Is there actually like a tipping point? Like Bluey sort of like frantically is like, hang on. Or is she just psyching us out?
You can
Inside?
talk. It's just. You
I
can
mean,
talk
Bluey
telepathically, or you can talk.
Yeah,
telepathically.
you can either ask Cass telepathically to ask her, or Bluey could ask herself. This is a free for all interrogation, so it's up to you how you want to proceed.
Sounds like you don't believe that this isn't, or this can be a part of our mission going ahead.
When she takes time to answer, Cass will.
She's like, oh, I was genuinely thinking about that one.
Also, let
And
me know when the
Slya,
minute's
how
up.
long does detect thoughts last?
It lasts 1 minute, but she gets the chance. She can do it one more time.
I think a minute would have already passed, but
Okay.
do I roll again?
Yeah, since she's essentially recasting it.
Wait, before you recast it, Cass cast Hex on her then.
Okay.
And you now have disadvantage on, what is it? What's the
Wisdom saves.
wisdom? You now have disadvantage on that. And you'll also get extra damage every time Cass does anything to her. But
Also, does Slya take psychic damage every time that shocking grasp hits?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
okay, good. If that was the case, Cass
I would have been fine with it. Just saying.
No, Cass would not have been, though.
Slya would have told her, do it. You know?
I feel probably disassociating hard enough to.
I also
Maybe
feel like
not.
detect thoughts. It would have probably. I don't think. Anyway, that's up to.
It is
It's up to Emma, and she said no, so you're fine.
Slya, at Bluey's question, Sinestre blank. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is she no
I'm
thoughts
just
heading?
thinking.
And she says, I think that all depends on you and your choices. So how can I answer?
What is the sickness?
I don't. Okay. Something of Elijah's creation.
You know who might know?
Who? Oh, right.
Also, did she fail the second detect thoughts?
She did, yes.
Okay.
But that's why I said she draws a blank when she answers that question. She genuinely has no concept of that answer. There's nothing in her memory which would play on it.
You can answer this but like, is it a case of she doesn't know, or there's stuff missing from her memory?
She doesn't know, and you get the impression, Slya, I think, as you probe deeper, that she's racking her mind, but nothing finite enough that I can say either way or show you a secret, confirm or deny that question.
Do you know any of Elijah's plans, or what Elijah is trying to do?
None that you don't already know yourself, I believe, if you've come this far. But I can add that he is trying to bring down the cloak of Salmata and bring Tiamat through. It was his affiliation in the past. And I believe there are others working in tandem with this goal.
Who?
Those who reside in the North Melas. Places that were once owned by other deities find themselves aided by acolytes of the Dragon Queen. That's my understanding of it.
And what does Pico Taro know of all of this? You said there was no one living in the castle that was aiding you.
Blissfully ignorant until Elijah chooses otherwise. That's how it works.
He's
Or
a
at least
contingency.
that's how it's
A sleeper agent.
Well, at the Slya says this telepathically just to make sure. At the risk of sounding a bit treasonous, I think we need to eliminate an undead.
When you say that, Cass.
It's telepathically. Slya is not
No,
saying
I
that
know.
out loud.
No, I know you're not, but like you still see Cass flinch a little bit because Pico Taro is supposed to be her friend.
Is that everything?
Is there anything else that you can give us?
My life.
Say again?
My life.
Give
Emma,
us
do you want to
something
put
you
your mic on?
want.
I'll turn mine off.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Give us something we want, and we might make your death less painful.
Do you want to go home?
I don't. Slya, what do you say?
She says, do you want to go home?
Sentenced to death. It doesn't matter where you take me, they'll execute me there, and you'll execute me here. No matter where you bury me, I'm sure before long a spider will lay its eggs in my brain or my skeleton. and that will be enough.
Why did you do the suicide mission? You knew you'd be caught.
I faced execution in the Underdark. Of my allies, only Vishar remained. And even she was moved by you a little, Slya. I realised that there were none quite so devoted as I down there. I couldn't let you live. Or at least, I had to try and kill you. To secure my place amongst the great web.
To restore your honor.
Speak up, please.
To restore your honor.
There's only one person, one being, whose opinion I care for.
Capture the Avatar and restore my honor.
There's only one being that I care for, and
She's locked behind a book that you were so close to and couldn't get.
I'm just as bad as Giral. But at least I'll end up where she is.
We'll see.
Okay.
You know we did to Drool, right?
I know. Well, she doesn't. She ain't got no idea.
Cass is like, maybe I add a body to my bag.
Great.
Is it free of spiders in your bag, Cass?
Hopefully.
Also, something odd. I don't know if Sinestre would be looking for it, but if you anybody wants to roll insight on Slya.
Sorry.
Yes.
I'll give it a go.
Ooh, nice. 19.
15.
Hmm?
15.
Slya doesn't seem angry with Sinestre. She actually seems oddly compassionate.
That's right, even eyebrow.
Not my ankle.
Before we go, was there anything else that any of us wanted to ask Sinestre? Did we cover it all? I'm trying to just.
I didn't write down what you were suggesting, unfortunately.
No, neither did I.
I feel like we got the information we needed.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, Bluey will message to Slya and Cass. Can I try casting that Detect Good and Evil? How? What does her sickness look like? Yeah.
It's been cured.
Oh, has
It has
it?
been cured, yeah.
Yeah.
Slya would say it's been cured.
Slya cured her.
Bluey's
Slya
like
cured
about
her.
to get the sword out of the hilt, and she's like, oh, okay.
Cast it anyway, Bluey. If you'd like.
I was saving you.
All right, she'll. I don't think she's done it today.
I don't think they've
she
had a
has
long
done
rest.
She has done
'cause-
it today. Never mind.
Yeah.
She tries to do it, and she's like, "It's
I was saving them.
never mind, guys."
Well, I love you. Oh my god, I don't talk to you.
So if like everybody seems like they're done.
Here's the
Slya-
buy you need to consider it. Oh my god. Man.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any sort of thing. There's kind of something the cast would kind of want to do before we leave, but I don't like that's just sort of leaning
Slya
into
also
Cass's
has
anger at the minute.
something to do before we leave as well.
Cass's thing would be to cause her more pain and try and stop her dissociating. So that's whether that's something Slya would want her to do.
Slya just says, "Your death is all but certain. But if you would wish your remains sent home, I could do this for you. Or try, at least. This is not my land."
She considers that for a moment and then a very subtle nod. Is there anything else?
Slya leaves.
I think once Slya leaves, I think Cass is gonna get down and sort of whisper in Sinestrio's ear, "This is for Slya," and then she's gonna mind spike her or mind sliver her. Her aim is to sort of get her to stop from dissociating and bring her back into her reality in a bit more of like a. It's only a cantrip. It's only a cantrip. It's not like a super powerful spell.
Yeah. Okay. So you have that happen, and she does feel the pain. She does feel the pain. Yeah. What I was trying to get at was that she has a different way of thinking, like a neurodivergence almost, rather than like dissociation in that kind of traditional sense. But like, also, you also get the impression that she's kind of similar to Gerald, been trained to not feel. Neurodivergence isn't the right word, but just like a divergence from what you'd expect to feel when you do that kind of thing. Like it's been conditioned out of her, but it does get through to her in that moment. Yeah, you sort of
So it's like a disorient spike of psychic energy into her mind, and Cass was making sure that Slya was well clear of her mind before she cast that one.
Okay. Okay. With all that in mind, Blue, is there anything else you want to do?
I think Bluey will just stand right outside the door facing out, so like not looking in. Just yeah, Yes, as I said earlier, if Blue was a more violent person, it'd all be over for you.
Except Blue, we just turn you into a little snail and put you in a pot.
Oh.
Sorry. With that, you guys make your way out.
To go find Picotaro?
Sure. However, you get the impression as you do this, as you walk, that killing or confronting a sovereign on Alstair's lands might require Alstair's presence, which brings me back to Alstair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. Bet you're wondering what I've been up to. I was joking! I've been having a great time.
Okay.
Emma's sensitivity level's off the chart today. I have to be very careful.
It's not true. So, you guys relax for as long as you wish to. Is there anything you want to achieve, Alstair, whilst you have this R&R?
I think Alstair, once he's able to, would like to go for a walk through the forest up to the lavender fields, just breathe in some fresh fairy air. Make Luran see that he is in fact relaxing.
Luran comes with you, and if you insist on walking, he folds the carpet up and takes it. And he says, actually, I was going to try and take you to Titania's realm.
Also just looks at him.
The doorway wasn't open to me. She must be really deep in winter right now.
Maybe she knew that what you were doing was wrong.
I think it's also a case of if we went there, we probably would leave. That's not a bad thing. But
Luran, I'm going to tell you right now, he stops by a tree. I don't want to live forever in Titania's realm, especially not at this point in my life. So, I would rather you didn't do that. Please.
You're boldly assuming I have any control over my actions.
I would hope you do.
You guys keep walking, and Luran eventually just says, what do you plan to do with Jural?
I don't plan on doing anything with him. I like to speak to him, obviously, and figure out a way that we can navigate this. Under the assumption that Karol probably won't try and possess anyone again now he has a body, which was his primary objective.
You're being very clinical about it.
I think I have to.
You can feel your feelings. You don't have to be anything.
I keep thinking this is food, but it's another red splotch. Sorry.
You can't see any!
I'm getting red splotches on my face. I am feeling my feelings, but if I feel them too much, then I'd stop. And I don't want to stop. I'm trying to be grateful, positive, for things that didn't happen, for the path that we're all still on, that Slya's alive, that Karol didn't do anything particularly heinous with my body, and that he apparently just wants to be with Thrall. Can't really understand, can't relate, but I need to assess the situation properly.
I hadn't really thought that Jural was your type anyway.
Are you upset that he kissed Thrall in my body? Because I understand. I just don't want to think about it or dwell on it longer than I have to.
I kissed him.
You kissed Karol? Why? You knew it was him.
First time I didn't know. And the second time, I thought a couple of reasons. I thought I could reach you. Make you feel something.
As having a good laugh.
True love's kiss and all that.
Reach you with that tongue.
Anna!
I thought I could reach you. And then when I realised that wasn't happening, I wanted to hurt him. And the only way I could without actually. But also like
Alstair's kind of brow creases and he nods. I forgive you. I forgive you. I'm sorry that the time you didn't know, I'm sorry.
I already forgave you for that.
Let's keep walking for a bit, okay? I want to see the field. Happy memories.
He keeps walking. And after a moment, he says, the majority of the time I didn't know. You know. A day and a night. I slept beside him. And I woke up. And I thought, why is the empty? And I saw him standing by the window. Staring at me as I slept. How could I have not known? I feel like that should have been the giveaway.
You also sits down by a tree. You were upset. Sorry guys, my throat's real. You were upset and reeling, and you don't need to make excuses for not knowing, but Luran, I'm sure he had the acting ability to pull it off for at least a day. So please don't feel. I'm just happy he didn't hurt you. If he'd hurt you, I wouldn't forgive myself or what I'd done. I thought the contract would, well, I guess it has in a way stopped him, but I think we still need to know his intent beyond just being barred by a contract. Because if we destroy it and he goes free, how do we know that he'll stay with Gerald? Although I feel like when I talk about Carol, it upsets everyone. It upsets me, it upsets you, Cass, because of the contracts. Everyone else, because they've been touched by it too. I did not feel. It felt like I was sleeping. Cass said, from what, and you can correct me, George, Cass said that when she was possessed, she could see things and experience things. Frozen. Out there. Oh, did the whole thing just freeze?
Yeah.
May.
It's okay.
I feel like Carol put me away. And I don't think he necessarily did this out of any care for me, but I feel like he put me away because he didn't want me to keep those memories. I think he knew what he was doing was enough. And if my assumption is correct, the Carol who we killed would never have done that. He would have wanted me to see and suffer. There is something different. And because of that, I can believe that he didn't want to kill you or hurt you or anyone else. Somewhere I believe that. I'm trying to let go of my hate for him.
Make a persuasion check.
I have a +7. 22.
Mm-hmm.
I persuade you with my.
Luran was listening, and once you're finished talking, he says, "Don't ever let go of that hate. It keeps you safe."
Keeps me insane.
Let me finish. You can still hate someone and forgive them.
Or I could do the opposite.
Not forgive them, but hate less.
Never forgive him. But not put as much emotion and hatred towards him that he continues to consume any part of me. I don't believe that you have to forgive everyone.
Oh, I fucking agree.
But
I was just trying to be the bigger person.
I also don't believe that hating someone is any way past this. Because the more I think about it, I got so much of my hatred out when I threw him down and ripped out his throat. Since then, I've just been feeling that feeling over and over again. I mean, even when I spoke to the fragment, I just redid it exactly the same. I spoke to it as if it was the Crawl that I killed. And he, I don't think he wanted to kill any of us. I don't think he cares as much. I felt numbness when I was there. Very far away.
I think there's only one thing that he cares about. Two.
If you have nothing left, then if they were the only positive things in his life, it's not up to me to forgive him. The only person that has to forgive him, well, people, are his family. What he has left of it. That's not my place to decide.
I went to their house. The place they
Didn't really know they had a house.
by the sea. It's in a schissel.
And it explains why Joel was happy to stay there. You look troubled.
I never thought I'd feel sympathy's not quite right, but it's almost. Though much less of it now. You're back. Time's almost up.
I'm expecting a doorway to open any moment.
Sorellas or me?
I don't mind.
Let's walk back then.
Also kind of casts his eyes out to the lavender beyond. What's at the end of the field?
I don't know. Really think I've ever gone that far. Sarah's used to tell me that it was a fairy trick. It looks like it goes on forever, but there's a drop off the continent into the seas. Can't see it. Not from here.
Can I do a nature check to see if I can smell any salt in the air? Nature. Nature. Ish a 17.
You can and you can't. Like you expect it to be there, so you can almost smell it. But then again, it could be another trick. You don't know?
Maybe for once Sarah knows more than you.
Maybe. Or maybe neither of us know anything. Come on.
Also, I'll take his hand and get back up.
She's waiting for
He's been like hulking behind them.
it. I'm going to say that a doorway opens and you step through it. And almost as you have that realization, guys, that killing a monarch might need a monarch to interrogate them or preside over first. You get a sort of prickle on the backs of your necks and you see Alstaer and Luran emerge from a corridor.
As soon as Cass sees Brian, she's like, she pauses for a second and is like, can I?
Yeah.
And then she's like,
Alstair gives Cass a pat on the head and hugs her. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the scare.
Are you
to see
okay?
Back.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, Luran gave me lots of ice packs and fruit, and I think there was some honey in there as well. It was really nice, and he agreed to let me go right on time, so that was good as well. What's happened in my absence, which is about 3 days?
Oh,
Cass is just like not letting you go.
Alstair's just got one arm around Cass, one arm on Luran's shoulder, just patting him.
Luran is just watching, observing.
You look very somber, all of you.
We just interrogated Sinestro.
Oh, I took her teeth though.
I put them back.
We gave them back.
Oh, when I went to sit. Okay. Anything useful?
new teeth.
No. Luran, Bluey gives you Luran gives Bluey a little mage hand pat.
2 requests. Since the previous one was made to someone else, would it be possible for Vernia to stay until things are sorted in Abrea?
Of course. There's plenty of rooms here. It's mostly an empty palace for most of the year anyway. So.
Secondly, I have no control over Sinestre's fate, but if you could return her remains to her family in the Tar.
I can certainly try, but that would mean a potential for resurrection. Which I'm not as comfortable.
I don't think they would.
Okay.
She's brought dishonor on her house.
Dishonor on the house. Dishonor on the cow.
This one,
Yeah. Um,
You would know better than I then.
it's the last bit of respect that I can offer.
Well, if that's what you want, then I'll have her executed promptly and returned. Would need to speak to Gerald, but maybe not right now. Maybe give it another 10, 15, 20 hours, minutes. I don't know.
I thought you were gonna say days.
Has Luran briefed you on everything?
For the sake of brevity, if everything was referring to the events of the last 3 days, Luran will say yes.
Yes.
He hasn't told Alstaer that his memories will destroy him if the contract.
That was intentional.
Yeah.
But he has said, like, oh, Karul has a baddie and is walking around.
Yeah.
And...
Yeah. I am aware that he has a body. I would like to see this. Make sure that he is contained properly. If it's on neutral ground, as Stellaras is calling it, I believe, then as long as he doesn't leave the mansion, then that should be fine. He's not.
Hang on. I sent Lucas and your parents
To the mansion.
after Luran's mansion door, but that wouldn't have. Oh,
Okay.
My impression was you sent them to Sorellaras's mansion.
okay.
Which means, okay, Alstair's like, show me where the mansion is. He starts walking. Show me now. Do it, please. Please. Thank you.
It's good to have you back.
Yes, it's wonderful to be back. Now I really need you to show me where the mansion is.
Slya's leading the way.
On the way, yeah.
And Cass isn't letting go.
I'm like sliding along the ice.
You guys dash very fast walking towards the mansion door and throw it open. Just in time to hear Sorellaras say, and thank you so kindly for agreeing to try my newest array of spice gelatos. I tried for a long time to combine savory and sweet, and they look over to you and you see that both Rolmy is sitting there quivering, holding a bowl of ice cream, and Serena is just like tasting all the different things like on a little spoon.
Hello,
Hi, Serena said.
Father.
Hello.
Does he know?
Make an insight check.
Yeah. 16, not 20 for once.
She knows. She knows. And I know she knows.
Well, you see,
Let's leave the session on well you see.
well, you see.
Actually.
Actually.
Well.
Cool.
That it? That all they wrote?
Mm-hmm.
End of session. I hit the button on the recording.
Yeah.
That's all, boys.
Okay.
That's all for now, folks. Woo!